right here is one of the nicer pieces. Kodak took this picture during the 64 championship game.
Okay.
And they mounted it on that particle board or whatever you want to call it, and they gave it to Art Modell. And this supposedly hung in his office until he moved. Well, once I got it secondhand, and then I went out and got all the signatures on it.
So this, y'all getting an exclusive right here. This picture right here hung in the owner, Art Modell, office. Oh my.
But you know the most significant thing about that picture is that, remember the knock on Jim Brown he never blocked?
Yeah.
What is he doing in that picture?
Look at
him. Blocking in the picture. I don't want to hear that story. Okay, all right, so that jersey is the first Jim Brown item that I ever had signed. And I had the painted image, put it on there, and then I had it all. So this is his first Sports Illustrated. This is a 64 championship ticket. This is a signed 64 rookie card. And that is the actual program from the 64 championship game.
Wow, from the actual game.
Right. Yeah. So now if you turn around this way, now these are on my this is my bobblehead collection.
Okay.
And they pretty much, these are the first ones. They were very, very basic, very fragile. They were made, they're made out of plaster Paris. And I stuffed the heads with cotton because if the heads usually rattled around, and within about a month, they were completely destroyed. So I basically stuffed them with cotton balls so the head doesn't move.
Okay.
Now these right here, these are my favorite ones, and they're the rarest ones because if you notice the way they look, the lips are, and these are from the 60s, and these came out in 62. So because of the racial climate in 62, they didn't make these for the Southern teams at all. I mean, they made a few, but the majority of them they made, were for the more or less for the northern tier teams. But yeah, these are my favorite. Followed by the kissing pairs are my second favorite because there were like all these different variations of them.
Okay.
And the thing is, they had magnets. So I think the female had a magnet in her lips, and there's a magnet on the cheek. So like if you turn them sideways, it actually appears like they're kissing.
So how far do you think these bobbleheads go back? So they've been making bobbleheads for a long time.
Yeah, early 60s. This was the first one for the Browns. Yeah, those were the first ones. Like I said, yeah, they came out in the early 60s.
Wow.
Wood base, and then they just, as you see over the years, they just got a little better, a little better, a little better, a little better. And then they even started changing what they were made out of.
Okay.
So if we swing around here, so if you've ever been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Not yet.
Okay, so if you ever go up there, all around the outside, they'll have these big guitars, and they'll have them designed, like one might be the Beatles, and it'll have pictures of all the Beatles on them. And then the next guitar might be of another artist, and it'll have all pictures on them. So I found this one, and I told the guy, well, no, I want this to be a Cleveland Brown one. And then up high, you got all the painted jerseys. And
Eric Turner.
So all those are autographed, and then I had the images painted on the jerseys.
Okay. I like that. And so, is any of these? I know you have met a lot of players. Do you have any jersey from a player?
Oh, absolutely. That's his jersey.
That's Joe Thomas. That's because this one looked a little different. So
yeah, that's a game jersey. So but yeah, basically
game worn jersey.
Yeah, that's a gamer. That's a gamer. This is a gamer. Yeah, these three right here are gamers.
Okay. Wow.
Now these are all your 3-foot bobbleheads, and they probably started these sometime in the 90s, I believe. Just making a, and now this was John Gruden and it was what's the beer? Not Heineken, the other one. I can't think of it, but I ended up painting all in the brown color. And putting the beer
on it.
Putting the beer and changing that as well too.
Okay.
So now these three right here, these were at Browns training camp and Browns stadium. And there's
these
three right here. Thousands of people took pictures. Matter of fact, I even found a picture like 5 years ago that I took with these two.
What was the? I think I saw you posted one. Did you got a Bernie one or was that Joe that you had on the back of a truck? I can't remember.
No, it was these three.
Oh yeah, because you had three of them. Okay,
it was these three.
Yeah.
Well, the night that we picked them up, we had an open-end trailer, and we're going down 80 on the turnpike, and I'm following him, and like it seemed like every third car you could see flashes. Because they were like,
taking pictures.
They were taking pictures.
Wow.
So you step around this way, and then it's just. So yeah, you got you got your Phil Dawson in here. You got your Chubbs down there. I'm getting ready to move Chubbs though over to here.
Move on.
Right. So this is so these pants and that jersey. That's the jersey that he actually broke the record for most consecutive Pro Bowl.
I was saying that's a Pro Bowl jersey.
That is.
Yes.
And that's the program from that Pro Bowl. That's the ticket from that Pro Bowl.
Wow.
And yeah, so there's other stuff in there.
Are these his actual shoes?
Yep.
Wow.
Actual shoes. This is one of my favorites though. Iron Man.
Uh-huh.
And being that he never missed it. Iron Man. Although I really wanted to do one with Jim Brown because Jim Brown never missed a game either.
Oh wow! And this is his hand size. His hands that big. That's him.
Yep. And they're all signed too.
Yes.
We go over here. And this is the history of all the helmets that the Browns have wore.
Wow.
So
you're gonna have to start over there.
Starting with the leather ones, the white one and the orange one. These are the first two. These two right here are the first two that they ever used. And then, as you can see, they had these they call them cow catcher face masks, and they're basically tied onto the helmet. If you look at them.
Okay, got a little.
Yeah, they're tied on. That's it.
Wow. So this was the actual.
Yep.
The beginning the helmets looked like.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And then there's just now that one this one right here gets credit. This one right here gets credit. Paul Brown got credit for as the first face mask. Because in 1953, Otto Brown was in a game, and I think he got sucker punched because he didn't have a face mask, and he broke his jaw. So Paul Brown had his trainer rig this up. All it is a piece of lucite. He had him rig this up, and he was able to play the next game. And this for whatever reason, this is credited as the first face mask. But as you can see, those were done. Those were done
before.
Before that actually even happened. And then it's just they just evolved over the years. Now that has this one has an interesting story, but it's never been proven. So after the '64 championship game, Art Modell wanted to phase out the elf. So, and he wanted to, for whatever reason, he wanted this put on the helmets. So, rumor has it, the '65 preseason game, these were on the helmets, and the first couple players that came in seen it, and they ripped them off all the helmets. Now, I've never been able to verify that, but that's the story that's out there. So they never really used the CB on the helmet.
This one right here look like it got Clay Matthews written all over it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that's Mike Pruitt's helmet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I hadn't signed it.
Oh, okay.
Once I found it.
Wow.
Oh, almost. Okay, so you seen the '64 championship program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this right here, that is actually 4 program covers. So in other words, when they were making the covers, they came out on the sheet before they cut it. So when I seen that, the person who had it didn't know what it was. They just had Cleveland Brown poster. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, I know what that is. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I wrote him and I said, could you turn it over? And he flipped it over and it was the same thing as on the other side. So I was like, that's an uncut 64 championship sheet. That's probably the only one in existence. Wow. So you know what I did? I went and had the whole team sign it.
Yeah, you get the whole team to sign everything.
Right. Hey, you got to get in where you fit in, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that's a nice cool piece as well too.
Right now, the My Dawgs podcast is showing y'all a rare glimpse of a museum. You can go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I'm coming here. This is where it's at. If you really want to see some Brown stuff, you come here. This is history here.
But we're gonna see the Jim Brown room first.
We got Jim Brown.
So this is the room. This is the room that when Jim Brown and his wife came. After introducing them to my mom, I brought them straight back here.
Okay.
And I'm
gonna let you lead the way.
It's a funny story because I started explaining. I just figured his wife didn't know all the history, especially the early stuff. So I'm explaining stuff to her. I'm like, this is the first game that he ever played in. This is the ticket from it. This is the program. This is the game he actually wore number 45. Very first game ever. Because what happened, he was in they call them the College All-Stars. And so he didn't come to camp right away. He was at the College All-Star. So when he did get to camp, he got there late. 45 was the only number available.
Okay.
So they gave him 45. He only played that one game wearing that number. And what happened was after the next game, the player that had 32 got cut. So Paul Brown gave him 32, and like they say, the rest is history.
Yes.
So yeah, these are the first game ticket, championship program. Now that right there, I love this. I can't even believe that I found it. But this is a press pass from the '64 championship game, and I had Jim Brown sign it.
Wow.
And then what you have down, this is every Pro Bowl that he ever played in. And I only had him sign the first one, Alpha, and Omega, the last one.
Oh, okay.
And these are all the other ones in between. And then those down there depict all his big games. Like there's a 5-touchdown game, and then he broke the single game record. He did it twice. And it was the exact 231 both times.
Okay.
And at about this point, Jim Brown looked at me. He said, "I don't remember half of this." He said, "I don't remember half of this stuff."
Wow.
So yeah, it was. So then I just basically started explaining everything to him and his wife. But this is an actual picture of the jersey, number 45. There's an actual picture of him.
Oh, okay. In there on it.
Right in that jersey.
Okay. So can you get this? The 45. I don't know if anybody ever knew that Jim Brown, for one game, wore 45.
So, and that's the actual jersey.
This one.
The College All-Stars. Yep.
Oh, okay.
That one. Now the other one, that 45 over there, I had that made because I just wanted something, and then I had him sign it, but I wanted something to depict that one game.
Okay. And what about these right here?
So that's a game used jersey.
This is game worn?
Yep. And then those are pants. And here's another thing. So his rookie year, he wore four different numbers.
Wow.
He wore 44 at the College All-Stars, 45 the first game, 32 for all the season. He gets to the Pro Bowl. Somebody already had 32, so guess what number he wore? Number 6. First Pro Bowl, he wore number 6.
Wow. And what is this is like a you gotta tell me a story on this. Is like San Francisco. What is
No. That's the Pro Bowl helmets in '64, I want to say. 64. Matter of fact, there's a picture of it right there. But in '64, '65, that's what the Pro Bowl helmets look like.
Oh, okay.
But there's an actual picture back there with him with it on.
Okay. Before they started wearing their own team helmets.
Right. Yeah, because back then everything was uniformed.
Okay.
But then, yeah, I'm trying to remember when they did start wearing their own helmets. I can't. Probably sometime in the '70s, I'm guessing.
Okay. And what do we have right here behind?
So these are game worn sideline jackets, and he actually signed this one the day that he came.
Okay. And what's this? What did it say? Class of '71.
That was just something. Yeah, I found that at the Hall of Fame. I just put it in there. But this is the actual ticket stuff from that game, and that's the actual program from that game.
And what's the middle one right there in the middle? What's that?
Well, everybody knows that Jim Brown was an avid golfer. That's one of his scorecards.
Oh, okay.
And he signed it.
Wow.
You ever remember when the Browns would play high school faculties and that kind of stuff? So this was and it's so funny because when I took it to him to sign it, he was like, "Man, where'd you get this at?" I said, "Man, I thought you knew."
Yeah.
I thought you knew. But yeah, this is one of those jerseys, and this wasn't when he played, but basically this is what it was though. The Browns versus Lorraine High coaches, that whole kind. They did it for benefits and that kind of stuff. But yeah. So if we come around here, so both of these are game used helmets.
Wow.
And the cool thing about Jim Brown, his helmets always had those 2 rivets in the front. And then it had that middle piece was raised, and if you look to the side, you can see how that's a big helmet. And
yeah,
I can't even imagine putting that in somebody's back. And he only wore this one right here with the 1 rivet 1 year, 1965.
Get this picture again. Look at that.
Now that's double signed. I had him sign it at a show. I didn't have a silver pen, so he signed it right there with a black Sharpie. And after he signed it, I was like, "Oh man, you can't even see it." So I had to wait for another show, and I had him sign it in the silver pen.
Oh, okay.
And you got all this stuff over here, different stuff.
And what's this game up here?
That's a Pro Bowl.
That's what I was going to say. It looked like the Pro Bowl helmet. That's why I was wondering.
Right, that's that same helmet that's over there.
Yeah.
And what's the significance is that's the only time he played against Dick Buckus.
Oh.
Because that's Dick Buckus.
Yes, right there.
In that picture.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Wow. And what's the $5 bill? Did the $5 bill have some type of story?
No, it was just signed by Jim Brown.
Oh, okay.
So when I seen it, I was like, "Oh, $5 bill signed by Jim Brown. I'll buy it."
Yeah, I understand that.
Right. So this was the Jim Brown room.
This is the Jim Brown room. And how was that when Jim Brown? You opened the door and you saw Jim Brown there.
I was stuck. I ain't gonna even lie. we had to be honest. We had to reshoot that. Because he was talking, I didn't hear nothing he said. I was just like, it was like one of those surprise parties that you don't believe is this ain't real. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? I mean, no, they literally got me good.
Wow.
They really did.
So Jim Brown, he said his wife came too.
Yes, Miss Monique, the lovely Miss Monique
was in this room right here. Get this picture right here. This is a famous picture. This is my era right here. That Bernie Kosar team right there. Then Bernie. Oh, Bernie. Super Bowl.
Now this is a hard one, and I've never seen another one that everybody signed. Now the cool thing about this one, Don Rogers was like the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who he OD'd at his bachelor party.
Wow.
He died at his bachelor party.
This is the My Dawgs podcast, and every door we open up, we're finding more treasures. I thought it was just one room. I thought it was 2 rooms. I thought it was a hall. But no, we're not done. We're not done. Come along. Are you ready in there, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's. Ooh, we got another room. Wow. Okay, now explain this room. What's the concept and what's going on in this room?
So this case right here is the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Hickerson, Collins, Warfield, Bobby Mitchell, Leroy Kelly, Walter Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Okay, now what we have over here?
So over here you have my second favorite player of all time, Ernie Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know the Ernie Davis story?
Tell it to me.
Come on, man! You don't know the Ernie. I need you to check this. You don't know the Ernie Davis story. You don't know the Ernie Davis story.
I'm a fan. I don't know nothing.
So Ernie Davis.
I want this for everybody to know.
Ernie Davis came behind Jim Brown at Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
Broke all the records. He was the first African American to win the Heisman Trophy. They did the movie. It's called The Express.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So that football back there, you can see Ernie Davis and you see Don Fleming. Don Fleming, those two died within like 18 months of each other.
Wow.
Ernie Davis from leukemia. Don Fleming was a electric engineer. He worked on high wires, and they touched some wires. He got electrocuted. Down here you have Frank Ryan stuff, who was the quarterback on the '64 championship team. Sign ball, card, program, and then at the bottom another quarterback, Bill Nelson. He played in the when did Bill come in? Bill came in because we got him from Pittsburgh. Probably I want to say like 68, 69, something like that.
Okay.
We got Bill Nelson. So now we move over here. So at the Hall of Fame, they used to have that was actually in the Hall of Fame, that picture right there. And what they did a picture like that, and then they did the bust.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as they kept expanding, they needed more room. So eventually they got rid of those pictures and just kept the bust. So once I got that picture, I went out and had a custom bust made.
Wow.
And that's another one of those 65 Aurora models that was and I had Jim Brown sign it. Now down here, this is a Paul Brown football game. It came out in 1949.
Wow.
And then you got some other Paul Brown stuff down there. Now that book, get a good shot at that book. Paul Brown, The Play He Didn't Call. If you ever want to know what really happened and how his firing went down,
mm-hmm.
That is a must read.
That's the book?
That's the book. Because this is what happened. When this happened, all the newspapers in Cleveland were on strike. Mm-hmm. So all the reporters in Cleveland got together and they created that. Because they wanted something, to put out there on what was going on. And that's what they put out.
Jim Brown, Leroy Kelly, Joe Thomas.
Now this is my Hall of Fame helmet. These are all the Hall of Famers. These are all the Brown Hall of Famers. And I had Joe sign that about 2 years ago because I knew he was going in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these are all Hall of Famers. Even some of the ones like Willie Davis, he only played a couple years for the Browns. Chuck Noll, he played 4 years for the Browns. Bobby Mitchell, Ozzie Newsome, Tommy McDonald, Lou Groza, Doug Axon, Len Dawson. So yeah, that's my Hall of Fame.
Okay.
That's my Hall of Fame. So this is the Bernie Kosar years. This case and these cases over here, these are all the guys that played with Bernie Kosar. Now, remember I was telling you about Don Rogers? He died at his bachelor party.
Yes.
That was the last jersey that he ever wore.
Wow.
Because they played. They had a playoff game. They almost won. They almost beat Miami. But yeah, and you can see his name right there on the ball too, Don Rogers. But that's the ticket from the game. That's the program from the game. That's the jersey from the game. And this is an actual signed card of his as well too, Don Rogers.
Wow. You got Eric Metcalf. Rookie card. I got that rookie card. I need to get it signed.
Chip Banks.
Okay.
Clay Matthews. Then over here.
Size 17s or something down there. Jeez.
And then you got these guys, Ernest Binder, Kevin Mack,
Ooh.
Minifield, Ozzie, Steve Everett.
Wow. Surprised you don't have the Wefter Slaughter when he painted his shoes. Oh wait.
Wait, you pointing at it? Yeah, you pointing right at it. I'm surprised you don't have the Webster Slaughter. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, oh wow.
Come on, man. Come on, you know we ain't missing nothing.
Do research on the stuff before you don't just buy.
Right,
you do the research.
Yeah, you have to. Because I don't, because a lot of times if you go through if you rely on magazines, they don't show you enough. Whereas you watch film, you can see, and I have every highlight reel from 46 to probably like 2000.
Oh, okay.
So I got all the highlight reels.
Okay, so you know what you're getting and what it actually looks like.
Right. That's the first game ever right there. The Miami Seahawks, 1946. And this is that's the first championship. Now that's a full ticket. First championship, 1946.
What type of ticket is this?
That's the first game that they ever played.
No, you said full.
That's the full, yeah. Because most of the time, like, see, that was.
Oh, you said full ticket.
Right.
Okay, because they ripped it off.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a full, never used championship ticket from 1946.
Wow.
Check this out. So this is when the team came out, or when they basically granted them the team in 1945. They decided they were going to run a contest to come up with the name of this new Cleveland team. So this is what it looked like. This is what the whole thing looked like.
Wow.
And on the back, so what you have, and I have some in the other room. It was a sheet. It had this on the front, and then on the back, you got to pick 5 names, and then you submitted it. And that's how they came up with the name of the Browns, supposedly. That's they made less than 10 of those and gave them away.
Wow.
And like I said, between that one and that other one, I carried those front pieces around for almost 10 years, getting all the signatures on it. But the funniest story I have. Okay, so you see the opening here. So when you pop this out, it's just a square and it's a hole. There's nothing there. So I go to Jim Brown and I set it down on the table and he looks at it. He doesn't know that he's looking at the table.
He signed the table.
So I looked at it and I didn't even think of that, but when I picked it up, the name was still there and I was like, oh. So I put it back down. I said, excuse me, Mr. Brown. And he looked at it, he's like, oh man. And then he ended up signing it right there for me.
Nah, knowing you bought the table too.
While I was just telling you that, I was thinking in my head, why didn't I grab that table? Now, that's an actual. Remember those tearaway jerseys that Greg Pruitt wore?
Wow.
Well, that's the actual one, and he even signed it. They didn't get this one. If you see it?
Oh, okay, they're right down there.
Yep, they didn't get this one because that's the actual. In other words, if you grabbed him like this, that whole jersey would tear.
It come off. Yep. That was slick. They need to bring that back.
Now they outlawed it. So normally, I say this ends the tour, but see, there's still another room left. There's still another room left.
I told y'all. When LeBron say not 1 room, not 2 rooms, not 3 rooms, this is the My Dawgs podcast.
Now you're actually seeing something that Jim Brown didn't see, because when they came, I didn't. This room was here, but everything I ran out of time. I didn't have time to put all this together. So that's why the curtain was up, because I didn't want them to look back here.
Okay, because it wasn't finished.
It wasn't finished, yeah. But like the showpiece back here. So when Lerner bought the team, he had this company, and there's a little nameplate over there. They're out of Kansas City. He had them build this for $50,000.
Mm.
And it sat in the stadium, and it has a cover on it and everything. It's really cool. But it sat in the stadium until Haslam bought the team. And then when Mr. Haslam bought the team, they just started, getting rid of a lot of stuff that they thought was old or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they got rid of. So I had a guy that worked for the Browns. He called me up and he said, "Hey, listen, we called all the museums. We called the Hall of Fame. Nobody wants this. If it's not gone by the end of business day, we're gonna break it up and throw it away."
Wow.
I said, "Give me an hour."
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way. So yeah, and then once I had this one, because this is the new stadium, I had to have the old stadium, which
okay.
That's the old stadium over there.
And
So I guess we can start over here in this corner.
Okay.
So this is all your sideline capes and jackets back here. So you got the ones from the 50s, the 40s. This is a Brian Sight one. That's a Bernie one. That's a short Bernie jacket. That's a full-length jacket. That's a Joe Thomas full-length one. So yeah, a lot of sideline jackets and capes.
wow.
And then you come around. Okay, so they had Cleveland Brown cheerleaders 1 year.
I was about to say, when do we have some cheerleaders?
One year, and they used college and high school kids to do it.
What now?
And they made them turn in all this stuff at the end. So here's the story on this. So when eBay first started, a lot of people didn't know how to categorize their stuff. So I think somebody put on their Cleveland Brown sweater. I didn't even know what it was when I seen it. Mm-hmm. So I seen it, and it was less than $100, and it had the pants with it too. So I was like, okay, whatever, what the heck? I bought it. Fast forward 10 years after I bought it, a buddy of mine, he calls me and he's whispering. He's like, "Hey, dude, I found like you're not gonna believe what I found." I said, "What did you find?" He's, "I'm gonna send you a picture." So he sent me a picture of this, and I was like, "Wait a minute." I was like, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, it's an original Cleveland Browns cheerleader. They only did it 1 year." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "I think I had that." He's like, "Nah."
He said, "No, you ain't got that."
No, you ain't got that. You ain't got that. So I said, "Okay, all right, cool." So I go down. I didn't have none of this was displayed. Matter of fact, I want to say I was still in Cali. So I went to all the things, those tubs that you put all your stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking through them, bam, pulled it out. I laid it all down, and I took a picture of it, and I sent it to him. He said, he's like, "Dude." So I was like, "So what are they asking for it?" He said, "Well, she was originally trying to get $5,000, but I think I got her down to like $2,500. This is from the '64 championship season. That's the player Tom Hutchinson. He was a receiver. That's the game used jersey.
Wow.
This is another sideline cape. This is actually Mike Phipps, number 15. That's Mike Phipps' sideline cape.
So what Browns player is not in the Hall of Fame that you think should
Oh,
be
Clay
on?
Matthews, without even thinking. Clay Matthews.
Clay Matthews.
Clay Matthews, without even thinking.
Yes.
Matter of fact, during the whole campaign when I wore a 57 jersey.
Okay.
And his daughter actually she gave me a shout out on Twitter.
Okay.
She appreciated it and whatnot.
Yeah.
So all these jerseys here, these are all game used jerseys. All of these are game used jerseys. So the oldest one, this is the oldest one that I have. And when I first seen it, now you remember number 45.
I remember you said
we
Jim
talked
Brown.
about it. Jim Brown.
Yes.
And then this was Ernie Davis's number. When Ernie Davis died, they retired the number.
Mm.
So I always run a contest on Facebook, and I show that picture of Jim Brown with number 45. I'll say, who is this famous Cleveland Brown player? Everybody almost automatically says Ernie Davis because nobody never seen that picture.
Yes.
So I had posted it, and a guy, he said, hey, I got one of those jerseys. I said, man, get out of here. He posted this picture, and I was like, dude, where'd you get that at? And he said, here, call me. I have to tell you this story. So he goes on and he tells me this story. His father-in-law played for Hiram. The Browns practiced at Hiram back in the day. The dad supposedly went into practice. The jersey was in the trash can.
Wow.
Just because I don't know.
Yeah, you got rid
it was.
of it.
He said he pulled it out of the trash can, put it in his bag. Never thought of. And then at some point he put it in a Foot Locker, one of those Foot Locker. Fast forward 3 years ago. So this had to be in the 60s when that happened, or late 50s. Fast forward like 5 years ago, the father-in-law moved to Florida, left that
Locker.
the locker with his daughter and son-in-law. They didn't even look in it for a minute, but then when they finally looked in it, this was at the bottom. So he pulled it out. So long story short, he said, hey, listen, I don't have any attachment to this jersey. He said, I know, the type of collector you are.
Yeah, what you doing? Yeah.
He said, let me check with my wife first, but he said, I want to give it. I just want to give it to you.
Yes.
He ended up giving me the jersey. I found out, though, who his favorite player was, Clay Matthews. So those painted jerseys that you seen, that's why you don't see a Clay Matthews, because I gave him a painted Clay Matthews jersey.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. And he looked at the jersey. He said, man, I got the better deal. That lets you know, I felt good about it. Everybody walked away happy.
Yes.
But this is my probably the most expensive one. But and then that's Lou Groza from the early 60s. This is from 64. I know his name. But this is an actual gamer, and this one was still in really good, because you don't find a whole lot of these because it still got the tail on it. Because basically what they did, they came up through here, and you button it down, and then that way it's your stuff stayed like this, and people couldn't grab it. So, but yeah, that's a nice one. All four of those top four, they were all four of those at some point during the season. But the cameras didn't pick up on the numbers or whatever, so they only had them for 1 year, then they got rid of them. I think they overthought it or whatever. But Brian Brennan actually wore number 13 as a rookie, and then later settled on 84. Was it 84 or 86? 86. Yeah, Brian Brennan. Yeah,
that was my guy, Brian Brennan. Boy.
Yeah,
it was Brian Brennan was the first Wes Walker. We're just gonna pick that out there. He was in Cleveland. We had a wide receiver, Brian Brennan. He did what Wes Walker and Cooper Kupp was doing right now.
Yeah, he did. So then you swing around over here. I gotta move this because this now you talking about history. So this case back here, Dub Jones, at the time, only one other person had scored 6 touchdowns in a game. Dub Jones was the second person to score 6 touchdowns in a game, and that's the program sign from the game. That's the football sign from the game. That's the ticket from the game.
Is that the helmet?
That is a helmet, but that's not from not from the game. No, that's a game used helmet, but not from that game. And then some cleats as well too. And then all of these back here are contracts. These are all contracts. Player and coaches contract. So you got who you got over there? You got Mike McCormick, Horace Grant, Ernie Davis, Bill Willis, Dante Labelli, Dub Jones, Frank Gatsky, Lynn Ford, Frank Ryan, and the coach, Blanton Collier. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I don't have any more tricks up my sleeve. I don't have any more tricks up my sleeve.
Wow. This is the My Dawgs podcast. Y'all getting a treat. He said he don't have no more tricks up his sleeve. But I know he got one more. Never believe a man with this much Browns history to say that he's finished. He's not finished. It's one more thing that we're going to treat y'all to. And this guy. All right, this is the My Dawgs podcast. I told you he had another trick up his sleeve. I wasn't letting him go without showing me this bad baby right here. Without showing me this. Woo! Look at this. Look at all the detail. And now, talk to us about the inspiration of this car, where the concept came from, how long it took you to do all this, and.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, this is just an extension from everything you've seen inside. So I was pretty much just trying to do a mini museum on wheels. That was pretty much the concept. So I definitely wanted to do Paul Brown, Chubbs. So now you got old school, new school.
Mm-hmm.
You got the elf. I don't know if you want to show the kids at home what the elf saying at the bottom. You got the elf. You got Miles Garrett over there. You got Bernie over there. And then you got Mount Rushmore. You got the Cleveland Brown Mount Rushmore right there. Otto Graham, Jim Brown, Ozzie Newsome, Lou Groza. And if that wasn't enough, Joe Thomas at the bottom.
At the bottom. And he can't forget himself out. I'm not going to let him forget himself out. He's going to get his flowers today. He giving everybody else their flowers. No, he's going to get his too. This is a Hall of Famer right here, fellas. So, but I mean, I know what you did in there, but this is a car. How did it go through your head to like, I'm gonna do this to my car? Like, where all these ideas come from? I know in a house, but in a car, that takes creativity.
Well, I definitely can't take credit for autographing the car at all.
Where you see this done from?
No, Hamper Dixon was sitting in the car, and he was just going on and on about how nice the car was, and then he turns to me and say, "You want me to sign it?" And I was like, "Sign it?" He said, "Yeah, silver Sharpie right there." And sure enough, he's the first one to ever sign it, and it was a golf outing. It was Hamper Dixon, Frank Minifield, Felix Wright, Ernest Biner, and Kevin Mack. So once he signed it, once Hamper signed it, the other four signed it as well too. And then now I'm going down that rabbit hole trying to get the rest of the car. But you know though, to be honest with you, that's been the most fun part of all of this, because getting the players to sign it and getting their reactions when they do, because everybody's different. Like Bob Golick, he was like, "Dude, can I sit in it?" So he's sitting in it and he's just going on and on about it, and he signed it. I got the Cardiac Kids at a show last month,
and that's what I was talking about. He takes it apart. He literally went in there and took this inside of that door, and I saw him put it on the table
right,
for them to sign. So he's a mechanic too.
Well, the only reason I did that is we had bad weather and I wasn't going to take my car out. So
okay, that's okay. Yeah, that ain't something normally you do.
Oh, I know. Oh no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
If it looks like it's gonna, and you can ask any person who goes to car shows,
mm-hmm,
we're always checking the forecast, because if it looks like it's rain, we're not taking our cars out. So yeah, that's how I got them. And the same with this one. I had popped this one off last year, and I got Kareem Hunt, Doug Deacon, and Ed Betwich was on the '64 championship team too. Okay. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting all the guys to sign it. And then now this is really for the Pittsburgh Steelers fans, because they're always claiming six Super Bowls, but at the same time, a Super Bowl is nothing more than a championship.
Same thing.
So Steelers fans, we love you, but you have 6. Look closely here, we have 8. So 6 from 8 is 2. That means we have 2 more than you do. Okay?
Y'all hear that, Steelers fans? There's nothing different between a championship
And a Super Bowl.
and a Super Bowl.
Right. Same thing.
One of them you win it all, the other one you win it all.
Right.
What's the difference?
There is none.
And if they change the name of the Super Bowl
To something else.
to something else, y'all still gonna claim them 6 rings.
Right.
So I don't want to hear it.
Don't want to hear it.
Okay. What is this right here we have?
So, well, actually, you have to see it from this side.
Okay. All right.
So that is a supposedly what it's supposed to do is like when the wind comes, it's supposed to like keep the wind from coming back into the car or whatever.
Okay.
It's just a cool looking piece. So I and you could pretty much custom do whatever you want. So I had me and Jim Brown, when he came, we were holding up the jersey, and then me and at the time president of the Hall of Fame, he shook my hand and congratulated me. But the really cool thing about this piece, this little black thing right here, there's an orange light in here that lights up at night.
Wow.
So it has a really cool look. You can't see it. I mean, I could turn it on now, but you can't really see it.
Yeah.
But at nighttime, it looks really nice.
And where the concept of your logo? Where?
So Showdawg. So it was never meant for me to be Showdawg.
Okay.
And I'll show you when we go back inside.
Mhm.
Showdawg is a character from a children's book that I wrote. And because what I wanted to do, I wanted to insert my Cleveland Brown hood into my children's story. So Showdawg he's a DJ for this kids group, and he's one of the major characters in this children's book that I wrote.
Okay.
So that's who Showdawg is. But for some reason, people thought that I was calling myself Showdawg, so the name kind of stuck.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna come around here. We're not done with history. We're not done. I love that. Pittsburgh, we still on you. We still on you, Pittsburgh.
Still love you. We still love you, but that's your picture.
Yeah. And this is the sideline jacket that he had in there that he was talking about that they wear on the sideline. That's what it looks like on the players.
Well, that's actually supposed to be, and he told me that was him, Eddie Johnson. Remember Eddie the Assassin?
Mm-hmm.
He was a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
That came from a poster. I don't know if you've seen it when we were in the house, but there was a poster. It's called The Last Play, and I kind of thought it was Eddie Johnson, but I wasn't sure. So I actually seen him at the stadium before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, he said, "Yeah, that's me," and he signed it for me right there on the picture.
Okay, and we got Hanford Dixon, Frank Minifield signed.
Josh Cribbs, and then you got the original 4 Hall of Famers: Dante Lavelli, Otto Graham, Lou Groza, Frank Gatsky. Then you got the Bernie boys: Bernie, Kevin Mack, Ernest Biner.
Yep.
And then over there in the corner, you have a smiling Bill Belichick. A smiling Bill Belichick.
The only smile you're gonna see on Bill Belichick.
Right. Smiling Bill.
Okay, is there any history, any story?
No,
behind
I
it?
just, the thing is, I just wanted to, again, I was at a car show and I seen somebody had that set up and I was like, ooh,
Okay.
I think I could come up with something for that as well too.
Okay. Get the other side. These. See, look how close these numbers is. 50, 54, 55. We was going back to back like Drake on them. We was going back to back like Drake on them. Look at that over there. 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Oh, that's 5 years in a row. Buffalo Bills. See, everybody talk about the Buffalo Bills when they went 4 times in a row. They lost every time. And they said, oh, ain't nobody never done like. Come to Cleveland. We'll show you how to do it and how to do it right.
Exactly.
You get all the signatures. Got the Willie special in there.
The Willie special. And the cool thing, I always like the way he does them on both sides.
Okay, now come get some more of this fantastic car. How long have you been working on this car? How long have you been getting it signed? And is there one signature that you haven't got that you want?
Oh, there's a bunch of signatures that I haven't got. I mean, I really want to get the old school guys. There's a lot of the old school guys that I want to get, and then there's a lot of young guys too. I still would love to get Miles Garrett. I already got Nick Chubb, but I would like him to sign the spotlight that I did on him.
Mm-hmm.
I already got Bernie, but I'd love Bernie to sign this piece right there as well too. So I mean, it's just an ongoing adventure.